Games Brains Headbang Life here with Flashback, episode number 30. We are looking at Guardian Heroes. Guardian Heroes is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up video game in the vein of Final Fight or Golden Axe, but with RPG elements, which is its biggest selling point. The development team call it a fighting RPG. How clever. Guardian Heroes was developed by Treasure and released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn video game console. A sequel was released in 2004 for the Game Boy Advance entitled Advanced Guardian Heroes. I never played it.
Nope, never.
And it was remastered for the Xbox 360 in 2011, which is likely, imagine most people played it then.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So as always, things we like, things we don't like, and favourite scenes, moments, or bits of music. This is a very limited one. Because here's the weirdest thing about this, right? I have a story. It surrounds this. I played this on the Sega Saturn back in the day.
Yep.
And because of the limited games on the Sega Saturn of what was actually good, think about it. What was really good on the Sega Saturn that was not recreated later on the PlayStation? E.g., I first played Resident Evil on the Sega Saturn, but it PlayStation as well. What have you left with?
I mean, I'd have to go with Panzer Saga.
That's probably about it. Panzer Saga.
Clockwork Knight.
No, but that's not a good game.
Oh, okay. No,
I'm talking about good games. Command and Conquer I first played on the Sega Saturn.
The Horde.
The Horde.
The Horde was it was a good game, but it was a very difficult game. Well, I said difficult. It was an impossible game.
We'll get to the Horde in the future. We'll have very varying opinions on the Horde, I think. But yeah, Guardian Heroes was one of the ones on Sega Saturn, and in my head, I remember being great. And then I remember when it was re-released on the Xbox 360, going back to it and thinking, this is not as good as I remember.
Yeah, same as me. I mean, Sega Saturn, as a kid, brilliant game.
Yep.
And said, I haven't actually played that on the Xbox. Do you know, I didn't even realise it was actually out on the Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox 360,
Did not realise that. Said, I played it about a month ago on the Sega Saturn.
Right.
So, literally, my memory is obviously still fresh in it, but it's not the same game I remember when I was a kid.
No, it's weird though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the same as like all the old games and old films. You know, you watch when you were a kid and you watch it now, it's like, nah.
This hasn't, it's not aged
it's not
well.
aged at all, yeah.
Nostalgia has blinded us in this
definitely.
one. But there are things we like. So, things I like, right? So, like the blending of side-scrolling beat-em-up action and RPG elements, it actually works quite well in the game overall.
Yeah, definitely.
It is, when it adds core, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with 3 different levels you can move between.
Yep.
Which would be fine because of its pretty colours and visual style, and it's cool as fuck. But the blending of the side-scrolling, the RPG elements is what I think makes it sort of like a 7 out of 10 rather than a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this game described by many people as Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, just basically, and all it is, in my opinion, is just basically repetitive. It's this: go to a screen, kill the bad guys, move along, kill the bad guys, move along, and eventually it gets so boring. It's just the same thing over and over again. I mean,
try and focus on the things we like. We'll get to the negatives. You're
mean,
already on the negatives. I know you've got a lot of negative things to say, but you must agree the RPG elements are welcome.
I mean, colour-wise, it's beautiful. Background-wise, it's beautiful. You know, it's impressive for today. You know,
I think so. It's really sharp colours. It's graphically, I think it's very, very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, character-wise, I mean, there's so many different characters in the game too. I think there's like 45 different bad guys or enemies.
Yeah, variety.
I mean, main characters. I think there's 4 or 5 main characters. Plus, you get the use of the gold warrior, and I think the silver warrior too at some point. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not really many positives I can say about this game, to be honest.
Well, a few more. Maybe you'll jump. Branching paths that actually make a difference. Different levels, endings, and bosses, depending upon which path you take. Guardian Heroes has a few. And it actually makes significant difference for what direction the story will go in and stuff like that. I'm a fan of that basically.
Well, I mean, obviously, any game that has multiple endings makes you want to play it again, obviously, to try each ending. So obviously, that's obviously one positive, you know. But the game, again, it's a very short game. I mean,
it is a short game.
You can probably complete the game in half an hour, maybe an
hour.
I
don't know about that short.
Well, if you're good at it, you can.
I think if you're good at it and you choose some of the lesser lengthier paths, then perhaps you can do it quite quickly.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'll say about the likes is versus mode lets you play as characters you had unlocked throughout the game. That's a nice touch. So you could even put civilians, like village people, in these fights and stuff like that.
I mean, like I said, I mean, one of my obviously likes is going to be the arena mode.
The arena mode, yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's just basically 30, 40 guys in a big arena and a big shootout, you know. And so I mean, and some of the characters, like there's the big bomb guy.
Yeah, there's massive characters.
He fills the entire screen.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool, you know. But again, once you do it once or twice, it's like, you know, okay, well, it's the same thing over and over again. But then I suppose for the Sega Saturn and for its time, it was fantastic back then.
I think it's you put it nicely there. It's reflective of what the Sega Saturn kind of games were, but also reflective of why the Sega Saturn failed.
Yes, yeah.
In the sense that this is still the sort of stuff we were getting. It wasn't a massive step up from your Mega Drives and your SNESes back in there. Not saying it's on par with those games. It wasn't. It was certainly an advanced game in that sense. Yeah. But it never felt like a huge... You know, when you compare something like Guardian Heroes, which was released on a console like Sega Saturn, to something like Resident Evil, which was also released in it, the contrast is insane.
Yep.
You know?
Definitely.
But as you're so desperate to speak so negatively about it, we'll move on to things we didn't like. Simply, it's personal. I've never been a fan of 2D side-scrolling beat-em-ups. The Streets of Rages, as you say, the Golden Axes and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of that style.
They were good games at the times, you know, but I mean, like I said, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know? Kill the guys, move along, kill the guys, move along, and then beat a boss, move to the next area.
No, I agree. It's repetitive action.
It's boring, yeah.
It's repetitive action that on replay gets even older and older.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's its biggest flaw, is that it is so repetitive. You know, you can do enemy variety and stuff like that, but when it ultimately amounts to the same thing, which is get to a screen, beat up everyone, and move on to the next screen.
I mean, back in the day, obviously, it was great because obviously we were limited with consoles and games, but nowadays with the range we have, it doesn't stand a chance. Which
is why I think it has why now we're looking at it, we're like, oh, this isn't good at all, or this isn't great in that sense as we thought it was, because we've seen so much better things.
We'll probably never see another game like that again. Probably not. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
I think indie developers probably do stuff like that all the time, but certainly not a like major console release.
Yeah. In
that sense. And last but not least of my things I don't like, it has a shocking amount of dialogue that interrupts action constantly. Talk about repetitiveness and stuff like that, but you get there's more talking and more talking and more talking.
Yeah, there's nothing more annoying when you're in the middle of a massive fight and then suddenly they just stop fighting and start talking.
Yep.
Or the bloody Gold Warrior would decide to appear and the whole thing will freeze, and then lightning and sword and stuff like that.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot, yeah.
It constantly interrupts the action. Right then, favourite scenes, moments, bits of music. Do you have anything for this? I have one, and you've already actually mentioned it.
Do you know what? It's practically impossible because, I mean, the music was virtually the same all the way through. I mean, obviously there's different tracks, but, I mean, favourite scene, I suppose just when the first time the Gold Warrior turns up, you know, it's pretty exciting, you know. I mean, obviously you're searching for treasure, you find a sword, it's his sword. He appears and he appears and kicks the crap out of everyone. You know.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. That's
yeah.
a good reference point. You already mentioned it, but the absolute mass of bodies that can be see the screen turning action into a frantic ball of chaos. That's about all I can really say. I couldn't even think of, when I was trying to think of a scene, I was like, scenes?
Yeah.
Then I was thinking of music, and I'm like, I don't go looking for it, because I'm like, well, if I can't remember the music, you didn't have impact. So I can't really say it's, you know, it's a favourite sort of thing. And the best I could come up was like what you said, which was, yeah, when there's a lot of people on screen, it can be quite frantic and fun, you know?
Yep.
And that's it. Guardian Heroes is a very difficult one to talk about. But there you go. There's the flashback to it. Ultimately, it comes down to it hasn't aged well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you for watching. We are Games, Brains, Headbanging Life. Make sure you check out the website, gbhbl.com. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud for podcasts, and our YouTube channel. We can find this video and lots of more. Go over to our Patreon. Donate some money to us. Help us out. And if you want to buy something and wear merch related to us, go to our big cartel. And finally, and most importantly at this stage, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.